Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode 26. You're probably asking, Nick, didn't you say at the end of the last video the next one's going to be Shaman King? Well, apparently, I didn't notice. Notice at all. Apparently, the series is taking a 2-week break. I guess they probably earned a break after doing 17 straight episodes. Whatever. So, this is reviewing the finale for J.A.K.Q. This is J.A.K.Q versus Gorenger. Now, you might be asking, Nick, have you watched anything of Gorenger? Yes, I've watched the first, I think it's the first 3 episodes of Gorenger. I believe so, because I know it was actually the first 4 episodes of this thing. Yes, 4 episodes. It is lengthy. I should point out, though, about Gorenger. Yeah, it is roughly 84 episodes, and I've only watched the first 4 episodes. I haven't watched any further it. The reason why is because I haven't got back to it. I might eventually do a review on it, because it's the first one. Yep. Now, the runtime for this movie is, get this, 24 minutes. A feature-length movie released in theaters. Yes, this movie was released in theaters on March 18th, 1978. Roughly 43 years ago. Yep, 43 years ago this movie was released. It was the very first team-up movie for the Super Sentai franchise. Yes, the very first one. And the next one will not be until, actually, one I've already reviewed, which was Gorenger versus Gorenger. Yes, I have reviewed that one. I reviewed a good chunk of the cross movies. And you're probably thinking, really? Oh, yes, really. Yes. Yeah, the other ones I have reviewed for the crossovers. Well, in the case of theatrical movies, I have also watched for Ranger, Gorenger, Super Sentai World, the one for Gorenger, Gorenger 5 Mountain Roars, Shurikenger versus Gorenger, you have Gosenger versus Shurikenger, Gosenger Epic on the Movie, the 30th anniversary film. Basically, almost all the films featuring the Gosenger, like 199 Cuban Battle, the Flying Ghost Ships, First Spaceship Gavin, Superior Tension, Ghostbusters versus Gorenger. Yeah, I pretty much watched a lot of these ones. Yeah, I've watched a good chunk of basically the crossovers. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much true. I have watched a good chunk of them. I haven't updated in a few years, but I'm sure there's released more since then. Now, the plot of this one is simply this. Now, in case you're curious to how much time has passed by between the other J.A.K.Q and this one, I would say maybe a year at best. There are some changes to J.A.K.Q actors. Well, for instance, all of them grew out their hair. Not just Karen. Yeah, Karen grew out her hair. But all the guys did too. Now, as far as I can tell for their attires, I would say Sakurai, Ace, his is pretty much the same outfit. They did receive a slight update and he wears gloves now, which that's interesting. Karen has a different attire. J.A.K.Q basically wears a silver suit for some reason. The only person who kept the same suit was Big One. Yes. Is Virgo civilian clothes, Baderai? Yeah, he kept the same outfit, which that's actually quite good. Because that's his trademark outfit, so why would you change it for? Plus, Joker himself is back in his normal clothes. Yes, first time since episode... Let's see, I think the last time that happened was episode number 22 of the series, because he didn't technically wear it when he made his last appearance, episode 23, before he returned for episode 35. Yep. And one thing I did notice, though, is that the strategic room for J.A.K. has changed. Yes, they changed it. Which, why would you change the operation room for? I mean, it's clearly the same base that they've been using the whole series, and yet their strategic room, it looks a little different. I mean, the back of Joker's, like the wall for Joker's desk, that looks the same. But the rest of the room is completely different. And plus, you also get a different shot of the desk, which was a bit unusual for the series. Like, you actually get it from behind Joker, because that's never been shown before that I could think of. Normally, they just show Joker whenever they're in the office. They've never shown from the desk perspective. That's the first thing they've done for it. And anybody can clearly tell watching this that the people who made this clearly put a lot of money into it, because this is basically a big budget movie that's like a half hour long. Yep, so basically we have the Jock Rangers just basically... Looks like they're out Christmas shopping, from what I can tell. They're shopping presents. And the reason why they're shopping is because, well, Karen won a poker game. Yes, a poker game. And all the guys have to carry all the stuff that she bought. Yes, seriously. So, and you're walking for a while, and then a UFO shows up. Yes, seriously, a UFO. And I'm like, really? A UFO? Okay. And of course, all the guys drop the stuff. But I'm sure Karen probably contact the ISS, said a couple agents pick up all this stuff, take back to Karen's place. I'm sure they probably did that, presumably. And then, of course, the Hop and Sky Ace. And they proceed to go after it. They attack it. And it's commanded by Captain UFO. I am not kidding about that. Yeah, this is the debut of the 4. Yes, the 4. The Crime 4. We have Baron Iron Mask, General Sahara, Captain UFO, and Hell Boxer. Yes. And here's something I find interesting, though. Like, apparently they have grunts from the Black Cross Army, which that's interesting. Yes. So, apparently crime's so active despite the fact the apparent death of Baron Ironclaw. Well, Boss Ironclaw, excuse me. Yes. Like, how the heck he survived being exploded by a poison rat is never explained. Look, there's Ironclaw. And at least that Crime's main base basically has a good explanation of why it looks different. You want to know why it looks different? Because it was destroyed in the final episode, so of course the room looks different. And basically, Iron Mask is a play on basically stuff related to, well, Gorenger, obviously. Apparently he was terrorizing Europe, and get this, it's revealed that these 4 guys were fighting other people. He was fighting one of the Kamen Riders. Yes, seriously, he was fighting the 3rd one. You also have, now, General Sahara himself, he's fighting the Go Rangers. Yes, I'm not kidding about that. Captain UFO, it's not stated exactly. I think he was fighting a character I've never heard of before. A character by the name of Katarada, an android hero. Apparently created with the same person who created, well, Super Sentai. Hell, Boxer was battling Kamen Rider Amazon, apparently for like over a decade. So we have 2 guys who apparently fought 2 of the Kamen Riders. Somehow. It's not exactly explained how. Like, why the heck would they even bother fighting fighting them anyways? It's kind of weird. The fact that apparently you have these guys apparently just taking on these people for some reason. Yes. And apparently Crime got their hands on Zoiders. If you don't know what these things are, they were the grunts for the Black Cross Army. Yes, somehow, someway, Ironclaw got his hands on these things. Maybe because the Black Cross Army is gone because it was from a Go Ranger. Of course, I haven't watched the end of Go Ranger, but I will get to that eventually. So they show off their big meeting room, which I gotta hand. This looks really good. Also, apparently, they kind of changed his voice, but clearly, Boss Ironclaw is still played by the same actor, which good for them. And like, they discover a spy has infiltrated the new crime island. Now, here's the odd thing, though. Who this guy is, never revealed exactly. Just a spy for some reason. Who's got like markings on his back. He's actually killed by Baron Iron Mask when he's flying in a helicopter piloted by, I think it was General Sahara. So the body washed up ashore. Jack comes in, and there's this mysterious woman watching him. Who is this woman? It's Go Pink. Yeah, seriously. Though they refer to I call her that because that's basically her color. Her name is her ranger name is Momo Ranger. Yeah, this is the name of the Go Rangers. You have Aka Ranger, Go Red. Our Ranger, Go Blue. Care Ranger, Go Yellow. My Ranger, Go Pink. And Meta Ranger, Go Green. Yep. Yeah. So, turns out and here's the thing, she's the only one of the Go Rangers actually seen outside of their suits. And here's something also. She only appears in like 3 scenes. She appears for this scene here, and then she appears at the main base later on, and that's it. And of course, she participates in the final battle of the movie, and that's it for her. Yep. So, they eventually find out this is an old, like, they use the code technique is something the Spartans use. Yes, the frickin' Spartans. Okay. So eventually, like, they find out where the new base is pretty easily. And, well, the J.A.K.Q Rangers go there, which is great. And they end up basically getting into a big confrontation. First you have Ace and we have Karen and Sakurai, where they go to the base. And just by sheer coincidence, Go Pink is there. Yes, Go Pink is there. And she breaks in, of course, she transforms into her Go Ranger form, which is like go, like whoosh. Yeah, in case you're curious, though, the transformation sequence for the Go Rangers is simply like almost like pulling off of the skies. Yeah, seriously, that is basically what they do. And I will get to how they defeat monsters. It is by far one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. I've seen them do this pull off a few times in their series, in a few episodes I've watched. So, then of course, well, they basically, and they would get like trapped in this big area, and of course, the rest of the Go Rangers happen to show up here. Yes, the rest of them. Though I kind of wish that we would have seen them actually meet beforehand, for this big battle. And it's like, we have Aka Red. Yeah, it's, Aka Ranger. He shakes hands with Spade, it's like, Go Ranger, Jack. And they basically had a big team up. And of course, we began the epic brawl of basically the Go Rangers and J.A.K.Q versus the forces of crime and what remains of the Black Cross Army. It's an excellent battle sequence. We even have various members team with each other, like we have Clover King and Go Yellow team up because they're the strong men. We have the girls team up. We have the Red Rangers team up. Yes, even the Blue Rangers team up too. Yep, which I think is so fun. So they basically battle for a while, and then of course, after they apparently defeat all the grunts, the Crimers and the Zoidites, the Crime 4 basically chips in, and they have a tough time battling, and then they just combine to a robot. Yes, these 4 guys combine into a robot, and they try multiple ways basically. And oh yeah, by the way, how do the Go Rangers defeat their monsters, you might ask? A small rocket when they play around with it like a freaking football or soccer ball, and somehow they throw it at the damn thing and it explodes. I am not kidding about that. That is seriously how they do. They call this thing a hurricane. The Go Ranger Hurricane. Okay. And they try using the robo, doesn't work. Of course, Big One just shows up, and does he end up fighting Boss Iron Claw? No, he doesn't. I'm like, really? You revived the main villain of J.A.K., and you don't have him fighting his arch nemesis? Heck, he even basically takes, Iron Claw's Iron Claw as a trophy. Yep. As for if he keeps it, don't know. It's kind of weird. Oh, and by the way, what's Crichton's plan? To bomb, get this. This is basically 1978, mind you. The U.S., Russia, UK, West Germany. You're probably thinking, West Germany? Germany's been unified since 1992. And 1991, you might ask. The movie came out in 1978, so of course they refer to as West Germany. East Germany's under control of the frickin' Russians at this point. So basically, various countries, anyone at least hydro bombs. Oh, and here's the thing. Here's a nod to Jack. Iron Claw thinks he's still the emperor of the solar system. No joke, he still thinks he's that after basically being pointed position by a robot named pointed by frickin' Shine. I don't know if Shine survived the destruction of Crime Island. It's never actually explored. Or at least if he actually did survive, he just basically just thrown to a side by frickin' Iron Claw. Yep. And then eventually the robo itself is destroyed by the combined, Hurricane and basically Big Bomber, which of course they have, the two things put into the cannon and it fires and destroys the robo. And you're probably thinking, what about Iron Claw? Well, he attempts to get away in a flying saucer, but luckily enough that, Big One just basically swapped out his Iron Claw with a fake one and proceeds to have thing explode. And that's the last you see of Iron Claw. Yep, that's the last you see of him. He, as far as I can tell, never returns. Yes, this is actually the end of him. So, goodbye, Iron Claw. Nice seeing you. This movie is also the last appearance of Joker. Yep, this is the last time he appears. He is never seen again. The chef, Thomas Ahimi, yeah, this is also his last appearance too. The talking hamster, yep, last appearance. As for the Go Rangers and J.A.K., the J.A.K. Rangers themselves, with the exception of Big One, would not return into the 35th anniversary movie. Big One returned in Go Ranger vs. Super Sentai. Oh yeah. Also, I forgot to bring up here that Spade Ace does return himself too, along with Akka Red. These two do return for Go Ranger as well for a brief, big, humongous 25 Red Ranger celebration of the franchise. But the rest of the team don't show up until the 30th anniversary. Both these two. And, they show up occasionally after that. And that's been pretty much it for them. I think the most recent appearance of the Go Rangers after this was actually in the miniseries, and same thing with J.A.K.Q. Now, in case you're curious though, did Karen and Sakurai ever hook up? Not really stated if they ever did. Yeah. And apparently that, Sakurai and, Karen apparently tries their relationship, but don't know when it took place because they never brought it up in the movie. Yeah, it's never brought up if they're a couple or not. It's implied that they are, based on one of the scenes, but it doesn't go anywhere. I kind of wish this movie was longer than basically just 25 minutes. Yeah, this movie should have been longer. You should basically, you would think, a big budget movie, you basically get more money in this movie and you don't make the film longer than it is. I don't know why, it's kind of weird, but that's basically how it is when it comes to, this series. Yep. What ranking do I give this movie? I'm going to give it roughly a 9 out of 10. I want to be fair. I love the story. I love the action. The only problem with the movie is the runtime and the lack of involvement of the Go Rangers. They don't show up in this movie until 5 minutes, like less than like I would say about 8 minutes before the movie actually ends. Which apparently Ranger and Ranger pulled the same thing too with this one, having the other team show up toward the end, like within the last 15 minutes. I'm like, really? So you have your next movie 18 years later and you repeat the same thing over again? Sorry about that. That's my nose. Yeah. That's the only problem with this movie. Like, the runtime and the fact that the Rangers take their sweet time showing up here. I mean, it's nice to see cameos from other characters from other series, but I just kind of wish we had a little more. We had a lot more to do here. And one thing I think this film really could have needed, like after, crime was defeated, after the big battle, they should have had a celebration. But here's a slight problem I forgot to mention in my reviews. Go Blue is played by the same guy who plays Big One. Yep, same actor. Which made him the first Super Sentai actor to play more than one Ranger. And they did this again for Battle Fever J and Dazaman, where two of the Blue Ranger, I think it's a Blue Ranger from that one. Actually, no, it's a Black Ranger from Battle Fever J and Dazaman are played with the same actor. I think they would occasionally do this, but in the case of, how should I put this? I mean, every time, I only think of this happened twice. And the thing of Big One is that aside from the ending, and here's something I should point out, forgot to mention in the finale, you actually see Baccarat actually transform into Big One for the first time ever. Because apparently he does transformation often he just walks away and comes back as Big One. Yeah, that's a big problem with Big One, is that you don't see him very much. He just, I get the fact he's an ally, but you could basically just have him regularly show up for team of fights. But no, it's basically the main J.A.K. Rangers. That's simple, just a bit. Yep. But it's interesting, though, for J.A.K. You start with 4 and you end with 5. I think it's one of a couple that basically don't start with 5. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular review. Stay tuned tomorrow for my review for, there's no more there's no more J.A.K., so it'll depend. Okay? Next video. Bye.